Today, we're going to look at how to edit your schedule and timetables in Shift. So when you first log in, you're going to want to go to the Transit tab, and then you can click on Schedules. So let's click on that. And then to edit the schedule, all we have to do is click on any of these schedules down here. For example, this one. And then from here, we can see the map, we can see the route, the times, the interval, etc. We can also deactivate the schedule from here, but for the sake of the demo, we're not going to do that. Now, the first thing we can do is click this edit button here to edit the schedule. From here, we can choose the route, the schedule code, and we can see the existing schedules. However, we can modify this schedule by using the operating rules on the right here. Right now it's set to daily, so we'll leave it as daily. However, you could also do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or you could do, for example, special day, which lets you choose the exact days that this bus will run. We'll just leave it on daily though. Then we can choose when this schedule starts, when it ends. We'll leave that as well. And then you can choose the start time and the end time per day. So right now it's set to 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. But let's say we want to add more buses, and we also want these to run later into the night. So for example, we could increase this to 10 p.m. and maybe we could decrease the interval to 240 instead of 360. We leave the duration and the advanced booking and the booking cutoff. And then we can either keep the existing timetables or we can regenerate them by clicking this. For the sake of this demo, we're just going to keep the existing timetables and click Save Changes. Now let's look at how to edit our timetables. Here we have three timetables. So if we click the drop down on a timetable, we can see the bus, the driver, the conductor, the operator, etc. We can also see when it departs, where it departs from, when it arrives, and where it arrives to. So what we can do is click this edit button here and we can change any of this information. For example, the timetable's name, we can add a bus, we can add a driver, or we can add a conductor. So let's do that. And let's scroll down. We can also change the departure time, arrival time, and then we can choose when this comes into effect. So for example, if we had manually modified the trip, then we can leave it unchanged with this option, or we can override it. So we'll leave it unchanged. And with this checkbox, we can see the future manually modified trips. You can see there are none here, so it's not actually going to make a difference in this case. And then down here, we can choose when to apply these changes. So we can either apply them immediately, or starting from the last generated trip, or starting from now till the last generated trip. So let's click apply immediately. So we'll start generating trips starting now and continuing until it's changed with this new timetable. And then we click save changes. Now let's look at how to add a timetable. So what we want to do first is click this add timetable button on the right. We give it a name. We'll go super luxury 25. Then we choose a bus, a driver, and a conductor. And then we can choose what we'll leave. So we will leave at 8 p.m. and we can choose when we'll arrive, which will be 10 p.m. And then we click add timetable. We see timetable added, and we can see that it has shown up in our list. We can also delete this timetable just by clicking this delete button here. So let's do that now. And let's just click remove. And that's everything you need to know to edit your schedule and timetables in Shift.